Hey everybody, it's Todd Brinkman from Main Street Innovators. It's just an honor to have Brandon Peck and G Lee with us from Mercury Alert AI today. And we're going to have a conversation about three people who love technology and how we really want to make an impact with seniors who live alone and are isolated, and maybe some hospital patients as you feel maybe claustrophobic in this four-room white wall thing that they have to be in during this time. But we're going to just start this conversation. And yeah, if you guys want to say hello real quick, we'll come back to you in a little bit.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for coming today, and it's an honor to have you. And this is really on the backdrop of what a project that we've been working on here in San Diego called San Diego 4.0. And it's taken us as a community 4 years really to get here during the pandemic. And I think a lot of us remember the pandemic when there was hospital patients who actually couldn't hold the hand of their loved ones during these horrible hospital experiences, or these seniors that were really trapped in their rooms. They couldn't connect to anybody. And out of that, researchers really started to study uh, this phenomenon called like senior loneliness, senior isolation. And what we found out is that if we're disconnected from people, it really has negative consequences on a person's mental health and has a lot of physical consequences like stroke. And what we're going to study a lot is about dementia. So in conclusion, it's just an amazing thing that if you feel disconnected and lonely, it has a lot of consequences. So we decided as a community to take a stand for seniors. So we started a project called San Diego 4.0. And again, it's a community project. So it's not mine, it's a community project. And what we're going to do is work with a lot of city governments and hopefully the county government here in San Diego, and maybe even some projects federally. But we're going to work with local leaders, and like chamber leaders, chambers of commerce, mayors, park directors, and a lot of senior living leaders and a lot of technology leaders like Brandon and G, which you get to meet in just a minute. But our project, as far as we can tell, is the world's first virtual reality for good project ever attempted. It involves hundreds of people and tons of organizations. So we just want to go big with it, because I think that's what America used to be like. We just go big with things, and we're very community driven. And I think we got away from
Yep.
that the last few years. But we're going to just do it. This isn't a Republican or Democrat or anybody's thing. It's a community project where we get to study new things, and so we get to work with Brandon and G. But just real quickly, we're going to talk about our event on March 20th. We're going to be at the Montera in La Mesa from 3 to 5. So come out and check it out, because we're going to be exploring how virtual reality can help dementia patients. And it's an opportunity for us to put a headset on a senior who lives alone, or maybe a hospital patient, and they can take a trip somewhere. So they're going to take a trip somewhere that helps them feel connected to the community. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to create literally hundreds of these VR experiences, and we're going to teach the community how to do this themselves. So maybe your parent is in senior living and you can tell that they're having memory challenges. We'll record your birthday party for the grandkids in 360, and then upload that to your YouTube channel. And now your grandmother now has an immersive VR experience that can stimulate the mind in ways that we just didn't have before. So we're going to create all these experiences, and then we're going to deliver them safely in what we call these VR stations. So we're going to teach senior living leaders how to safely deliver a headset, make sure they're sitting in a stool or not going to trip over anything, and do it in a safe way, and have a conversation about them as well. And the third step is we're going to work with Mercury Alert AI, which we'll talk about in a second. This is where we're going to monitor the success of this event. So just imagine we're going to have 7 days of a backdrop, right? Like here's an isolated senior living at home. It shows up as anger, isolation. And then we're going to put a VR headset on them. And then we're going to study them for 7 days with these amazing new tools, which we're going to learn about in just a second. So imagine you can use AI to monitor different types of things, like sleep patterns, those types of things. So there's nothing wrong with behavioral type studies, like how are you feeling today? But that's really not what we're going to do here. We're actually going to have a lot more data. So just imagine this scenario. If you're maybe a loved one who lives far away from your grandmother, or you're a caregiver that monitors a lot of people, it's just a new device to be able to check in on people with different types of AI algorithms. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's bring him in, Brandon and G, and let's just talk quickly about your story. I think me and a lot of people are interested about individuals like you that can really do anything. You can create anything. So if you can just take a minute, or as much time as you need, but to tell your story of why you want to use technology to really impact seniors. So Brandon, if you want to go first, just tell us, yeah, your story.
Yeah, so I originally had this problem in high school with my grandfather. My dad was monitoring my grandfather, and he was using all sorts of different technologies and gadgets like buttons and even cameras. And my grandfather fell on the ground and was on the ground for many, many hours before anyone knew. And my dad didn't know to check in and check the camera. And so, um, yeah, that kind of spurred knowing about this problem, and later picked it up with G in high school too, which he can talk to also. But that's how I got started with this. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Brandon and I actually went to high school together. And I similarly at the similar times I had a grandmother with really severe dementia, and my mother and I were taking care of her, and we faced all the struggles of not being able to afford a caregiver, how difficult it was to always be there with her, make sure she's safe, make sure she's happy. And yeah, like Brandon said, a few years later we got back together and decided that we should build something that still really doesn't exist and help the world a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
to
Brett.
kind of paint a little bit more about that too, and how we got started in high school. Just so I was the founder of the coding club. She came to me with this problem originally, and said, this is a problem that I've experienced. I'd love to work on this as part of the coding club. And I was like, wow, I have a relationship with that problem too. And so I coded the Xbox Connect to do a fall detection. We competed in something called the Microsoft Imagine Cup, and we won first place in the US in high school, and that was really exciting. And we took
What?
a break. Yeah, we took a break in college, and we were like, someone's going to solve this. We're going to go to college. And I studied computer science. She studied nano engineering. And then after college, we talked about it again and realized nobody had solved it. And I was a lot more trained with the right algorithms and computer vision technologies that I'd studied, and we picked it back up.
Wow, what a great story. Right, you remember some high school students that became actors and they went to the same high school. That's interesting.
All right.
Both of you went to the same school. Interesting. Yeah, what kind of, that must have been an amazing high school to be able to bring both of you up in that kind of culture. But yeah, it's an exciting time, and it's always interesting to hear people's stories about how they want to make an impact in the world. And we live in this crazy world, this world of being unbelievably connected, but at the same time, we have these really high rates of depression and isolation with not just seniors, but with young people. So it's exciting to hear your story. And one of our mission with Main Street Innovators is to get into universities and high schools and just to inspire people, inspire young people to make a difference in the world. So I think I hear this a lot over and over again is a lot of young people want to make a difference in the world. Their goal in life may not be to be, the next billionaire. They just want to help the world out, help the community. So I hear that at both of you. And yeah, it's exciting to be here. And I hope you're both billionaires. Just kidding. But it's exciting. So a lot of us have come together to create this project called San Diego 4.0. And again, just to say it one more time, is we're going to create VR experiences, and then we're going to teach people how to deliver them. And then we're going to have this new tool where we can put in people's rooms where we can study all different kinds of metrics. Again, we may or may not have behavioral scientists to ask seniors, like, how are you feeling? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like cognitive therapy. But we're talking about something different where we have new tools to measure, actual metrics to put that in the equation. And so I'm excited to bring you both back in. And I think, G, maybe if you can start this time, start first, is we're going to have an event on March 20 talking about this project. So we're going to bring this new AI technology into seniors who live alone and in the safe facilities. We're up in the corner or wherever you would put that, this little device. And then we're going to monitor different things like sleep patterns and different things like that, fall algorithms. And then out of that, we're going to be able to study the effectiveness of virtual reality. And that's what we're going to do on March 20th, which is just in a couple of days. Can you believe it's the middle of March already? It seems like we just had the holidays a couple of days ago. But it's from 3 to 5 at the Montera, and it's a project with an organization that really I love a lot, which is Aging 2.0 here in San Diego, where a lot of technology people in the senior living space are coming together to work together. And this would be one of those projects. And then it's going to launch certainly San Diego 4.0, which is my company. And at the same time, we get to help launch a lot of other companies like Mercury Alert AI. And if you can just spend a minute just talking about First of all, maybe what we can study now with this project, and maybe it's the both of you if you want to jump in then and just talk about what your product does and how you can help really monitor seniors, and then just as importantly, how you can help other people monitor maybe their loved ones or their isolated senior who maybe lives alone. So go ahead, G. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you. So we're Mercury Alert. We're actually based out of UC San Diego. And the way that we work is we are able to detect really every action that a real caregiver would be looking for. And on top of those detections, we can pull a bunch of data analytics where we can see how well older adults are sleeping, how long they're sleeping, how fall prone they may be, and a lot of useful metrics that really up until now didn't exist. And by using that, we can track those changes and any new trends or patterns over time and be able to really tell if certain interventions like VR exploration is working and how well it's working and how it's affecting the older adult's mindset and activities.
Yeah, that's exciting. Awesome. Brandon, any words on this?
Yeah, I think the way that I like to think about it is that we have just different data inputs that we can analyze in different ways. So everything from the different positions that we're detecting, which we've designed around what caregivers are looking for, to how much are people moving in the room. And so using all of those inputs, we can pull out analytics. Like we have things like a safety score. We can tell how many times people sit up, how many times people leave the room, very granular levels of activities of daily living that we can tell. And then, as we move forward and we collect more and more data, we're correlating that back to different interventions. And so that can be anything like taking medication. We've already had specific customers who've correlated behavioral changes based off of our analytics, given those medication changes to VR interventions and things like that. So we're really excited to do that because we really feel like this data-driven approach will create a lot of impact in older adults' mental health, physical health, and yeah, we're already starting to see that.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I've been following a topic called the America's loneliness crisis. I don't know if the both of you have heard of that before. But we're entering a period of time where we're actually seeing a radical increase in the amount of need to help seniors. The demand is really going high, right? As we reach peak 65. So over the next year, we're actually going to experience a record amount of seniors retiring or turning 65.
Right.
And at the same time, we're seeing a rapid decrease in the amount of employees.
Right.
So what we're talking about today is how do we remedy that? And the answer is that we can't just keep hiring people. The answer is we need to leverage technology. So what I'm hearing you both say, if I'm a caregiver, I can actually now leverage my time. I can monitor people in different ways. So I don't have to physically be there. I can use the metrics and the study things. And at the same time, if you're a loved one, like I know both of your stories, a little bit, maybe a little more Brandon's story, is if I don't live in the same physical room or space as maybe my loved one, now I can have new metrics to really help ensure that my loved one is, having a quality of life that they deserve. And
Right.
you can track new things in ways. It's not just how are you feeling and they're hiding something. You can actually see the idea. So I know you covered a little bit, but can you cover what you do through the eyes of maybe a caregiver in just a little bit more of an expanded way? And this may be like it's a little bit way. How can I say this? So it's kind of like, why would a senior living leader contact you? Maybe so if you can talk about through the eyes of a caregiver, and then maybe how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah. So let me spell out a little bit more about the two different features of the product. So we do alerting. So different caregivers want to know about different things that are occurring with the senior. So we can tell everything like when someone sits up. Some caregivers want to be dispatched immediately when that happens so they can prevent unassisted bed exits. We can tell when someone falls. We can tell when, and we'll alert that. We can tell when someone doesn't return to bed at night in a normal period of time. So let's say they fall in the bathroom, in the living room or something like that. So we can alert on all of those. So we have a comprehensive set of alerts, and caregivers can opt into those. And then based off of the different detections, kind of a longer term thing that caregivers can look at are these different analytics and do intervention-based care based off of those analytics that we produce. to answer your question about when a caregiver could use us, I think all caregivers of different types, whether it's in senior living, if they want to monitor everyone and make sure everyone's safe for, because people can literally be fallen for long periods of time, even in senior living, because caregivers do rounds every 2 to 3 hours. So we work with senior living. Home care agencies can use us to better utilize their care staff if they have limitations, so they don't have to turn away customers because they don't have enough care staff. So they can deploy our device, do 24/7 monitoring, dispatch different caregivers if there's any kind of emergencies or need help, and then use the proactive based care analytics to decide if someone needs care that next day. Let's say their safety score the previous night is poor or regressed based off of their average. They can use that as evidence of there should be a caregiver sent that day, maybe spending a little bit more time. And then we do work with families as well. And, that value add is very apparent. If you can't afford any kind of care, you need to make sure your loved one is safe. You're not, you don't like the existing technological solutions of needing to wear a button. A lot of people don't like wearing pendants or watches. And so, then you would just install our device on the wall. We can detect and alert on all comprehensive set of safety, alerts. And so, yeah, I think that's all of our value.
Wow, what a difference you can really make in the lives of seniors every day. Wow. And especially when we're talking about dementia on Wednesday,
Yeah.
a lot of the risks that they have with memory and falls and all the things that they experience. But I'm thinking in terms of a caregiver, what a difference that would be to help alleviate a lot of the burnout. And a lot of the research I've done and the conversations I've had is a lot of senior living employees are leaving. They're leaving the industry because they're so burned out. So this really gives a senior living executive the opportunity to attract employees. So wouldn't it be cool if you're looking to attract employees and you can say to this person, like, what we're going to do? We're going to leverage your time and we're going to allow you to have all these new tools to monitor all your patients. And what an amazing experience to actually attract employees with innovation. And that's just an opportunity to attract and then to retain these employees because you're leveraging their time, because you're saying they go around every 2-3 hours. They would still probably continue to do that, but in their mind, they're doing so many repeatable tasks. So if we can start replacing some of those and let them just be with seniors more often, I get excited about the potential of your product as we move forward. So thank you, Brandon. And anything from you, G, about what you see from what we just talked about?
I think Brandon hit the nail on the head. He explained it perfectly.
Awesome. Thank you. Ed, what a great opportunity. And I'll just wrap things up real quickly. You get to learn more about Mercury Alert AI in San Diego 4.0 at the Montera in La Mesa here again on March 20th from 3 to 5. And our topic specifically is about virtual reality and how it can help seniors just really feel connected to the community, so they're not so lonely and isolated. And we're going to explore that. And the hypothesis to wrap things up is I think virtual reality can help seniors feel loved, connected, and empowered. It just takes a small group of people to start, like this event on Wednesday, and it will just continue over and over again. So I know Brandon and G, hopefully we can continue this conversation in other events, but we're going to create this as a first model, and then we're going to quickly go into North County, into Orange County, and then into LA, Phoenix, and Vegas, wherever this particular project takes us. So we're just starting, and join us on March 30th. So if one of you can tell us in closing how we can get a hold of you if we're interested in what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Just check out our website at mercuryalert.ai. Mercury as in the planet. And you can email either of us, Brandon or G as JI at mercuryalert.ai. So we're happy to reach or answer either way.
Great. Well, I appreciate both of you for being on our program today. And it's an honor to have you with our event on March 30th. And again, join us on March 30th, March 20th, in 2 days at 3 to 5 at the Montera. So thanks again, guys, and we'll see you soon at the next event.
Yeah, thanks. We're really
Thanks so much,
inspired by
Todd.
what you're doing. So yeah, thanks so much.
Yep.
Cool. See you, everybody.
Bye.